too. Okay, so I just hit record and welcome you guys to our Monday night team call. So happy and excited. Oh, yep, see, they're going to start popping. Hey, Leah. So excited for our team call tonight. And first, I want to call out our newest consultant, Chrissy Harvey. Kristen, I know she's on your team, so yay, so excited. One of our South Dakota girls. So pumped for her, absolutely thrilled. Consultant is sharing products that you love, and she did it, and I'm proud of her, and I know Kristen, that helps you as you grow your team too. So what a beautiful business. And then the other thing is, so as you may have seen, we just had an executive retreat with our team, and these leaders on our team came up with an idea that we want to start launching. And what it is a Blitz Hour. And we'll post about it in Everyday Rockstars as well in the various groups. But a Blitz Hour is really just a time for anyone that wants FaceTime to work at the exact same time to hop on and do inviting. So you're on, it's not meant that we're all talking to one another. We can't be like out loud coaching. We will never get anything done. But it's meant to hop on and sit and work. And you see each other's faces, and you can put in the chat if you want, and you could even maybe take something offline. Like if someone does need a coaching, I can say, hey, let me call you quick. So it's like an office hour. So noon on Mondays, Central Time, 9 p.m. Tuesdays. So there's a daytime and a nighttime option, totally optional. Noon, Monday, 9 p.m. Tuesdays. That's Central Time. So I know we have every time zone, but just know we'll put a flyer out and we'll put more details around that. Heidi, would you add anything else? Or any of the others? I mean, Molly was there, Barbie was there, Holly was there.
This idea just popped in my head as you were talking that, honestly, if there's like a group of people that, is in a different time zone and they say, well, we want to do Wednesdays at noon Pacific time, like if we want to add some other times, I think that that's a great option. So if there's a group of you that's like, those two times don't work, but we want to add another one, we could do that. And the other thing I would add is that there's energy in working in a group. It's the whole pain tolerance is higher in a group. So even though you're just working independently, just having that energy of like vibing off of other people, and it's set aside time and you can celebrate wins in the chat, and it just makes it more fun to have that collaboration instead of, plunking away on your computer by yourself.
Totally love it and totally agree. So see flyers and details on that Blitz Hour. It's called Blitz Hour, Mondays daytime noon, Central, 9 p.m. Tuesdays. So those two options, totally optional. If you get your work done best, just hold up in a corner by yourself and don't want to log on, don't log on. No big deal. No story at all. And Chrissy, I see you're on now. So congrats on hitting consultant this last week. I already said that, but I'm thrilled for you. So congrats. We all are thrilled for you. Yay. Okay. And now I have the privilege of handing it over to, someone very special to me, someone that, we have those battle buddies in business, truly people that, maybe you're not financially tied. Often it works best if you're not, and you just can like help each other through this business. And I think Emily Vavra, I heard her once from stage say battle buddy, and I was like, yeah, that's what it is. Because there are the ups and the downs, and entrepreneurship is messy. We know that. And, I love, we all have amazing mentors and mentees and team members and all those things. And then we also have those battle buddies. And Julie has definitely been one of those for me throughout this journey. Julie has built a very successful business. She also is training on a topic tonight of the three-way call, which Julie was my first experience of a three-way call before I enrolled in IsaGenics. Amanda Svensson got me on a call with her. It was powerful and it was magic. And I'm not going to steal her thunder, but because I know she's going to talk about that. But just having that connection, not just to who I knew, but to this future friend in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was so powerful. Literally, she hopped off the phone and I enrolled right there. I gave Amanda my credit card and ordered my pack. And so she's going to talk. She has hit multiple six figures. She's hit 6-star golden circle. She had 2 personally enrolled executives, right? Crystal executives. She's run the ranks. She and her husband, Dan, do this from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, along with their 2 kids. So I'm just pumped for you guys to learn from her tonight. So yeah, Julie, take it away.
Thank you so much. And I just want to briefly say how powerful those blitz hours are. Like, I know I'm not a part of your team, but I'm like, oh, maybe I'm going to hop onto the noon Monday one. Because I just want you guys to know there's just such power in the accountability of really having focused time towards your business. And also just like, I think Heidi said too, just that like, you know, it's that 5 seconds of insane courage. And sometimes when you're like on the line with a whole bunch of people and they're just like, just do it. You're like, I'll do it. And then everybody celebrates you and, you know, then everybody else gets back to work. There's just something about the power of that. And when you cannot be geographically together, that is just such a genius and brilliant idea. So I hope that you guys all take advantage of that. What an awesome gift to have that tool in your toolbox as a team. So yes, Allison, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Allison is for sure my battle buddy, warrior sister, whatever you want to call them in this business. And you know what? This business is an up and down. And it is just like every other business, right? So I always tell people every business has ups and downs. I come from a family of entrepreneurs and business owners, and this is just like anything else. It has highs and its lows, and that's why we have team, and that's why it's so powerful that network marketing allows us to build a business in community. And how cool is that we get to build our dreams and our business in community, and we aren't doing it alone. And I think that is so, so powerful. And yes, in fact, I did do a 3-way call, which was like the anchor that got Allison to enroll in IsaGenics. And I will tell you that I remember we were visiting our in-laws, and Dan and I were talking to the owner of Gold's Gym in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, actually, about enrolling on our team. And I took that 3-way call from the parking lot of Gold's Gym in Eau Claire with Allison. And 3-way calls are so powerful. So it can seem like, wow, this is not that sexy of a topic, you know, why is she so excited? But 3-way calls have the ability to completely shift your business if you allow them to, right? So there are going to be those people that are on the call tonight and they're going to be like, yeah, no, 3-way calls, super weird. I could never get a friend to like get on the phone with somebody they don't know and not feel like this was like a bad timeshare presentation. Like, nope, not going to do it. And that's, you know, if that's you, that's okay. But if you are somebody that's on this call and you're like, I am ready to take my business to the next level, 3-way calls are going to be the magic. And then you're going to look back and you'll be like, yeah, that crazy girl from Milwaukee, she's the one that reminded me of this amazing tool in my toolbox that I'm not taking advantage of, and shifts your business. And Allison's like swatting at flies, which anyway. Okay, so I want to tell you a story about 3-way calls aside from Allison. So when I very first started IsaGenics, I was a product user for the better part of 8 months. I actually told people I would never do network marketing because I was a real businesswoman. Talk about like having to like stick my like foot in my mouth. Here I am, like have built this massive business. I'm a real businesswoman. You guys, whatever. This is the greatest business model ever. But I was 8 months in, and there was a coworker of mine. And if you don't know me in real life, I am not a person who has loved my own journey with fitness and working out, okay? Those of you that know me, you're like, I know. I have had this, I wouldn't even say love-hate, I'll say hate-hate relationship with working out and fitness. And I'm recently changing that. I decided I was going to rewrite that story in January, which I am so proud of myself that I have done, but that's not part of the story. So this coworker of mine, she wants to know what I'm doing. And she does bikini competitions. And I'm like, okay, why is this woman asking me for advice on nutrition? Like, she's doing bikini competitions. I'm like a mom drinking protein shakes, right? Like, I'm so confused why she's asking me for advice. But she's like, no, she has all these like different things happening with her body. And she was really strongly interested in the cleanse because of her, some body stuff, composition stuff going on. She couldn't do a lot of really harsh cleansing and all that stuff. So she wants to get on the phone. And I'm like, seriously, I am like a business person. I don't know anything about nutrition. So what do? I think about who can I get on the phone that could answer the questions that she's going to have? Because I don't know what's in the shakes. I don't even know how many grams of protein are in the shake. I probably still couldn't say that accurately. I don't know ingredients. I don't know macros. I don't know anything that somebody doing a bikini competition needs to know, right? So I think about who that could be. And at the time, Rachel Derringer, who if you don't know, she's the person who enrolled Amanda Svensson. She's a nurse. She's super informed about holistic health and nutrition, has in-depth knowledge of the products. And I messaged her and I said, okay, I know I don't know you very well, but like I see you in this Facebook group, and she was doing a lot of posting. I was like, I need someone. And she got on the phone, and here's what happened. I said, Christy, I want you to meet my friend Rachel. Rachel knows way more about the products than I do. She's going to answer all of your questions. And then I hit mute on my phone, and the two of them started talking. And at the very end, Rachel said, do you have any more questions before you are ready to get started? And Christy said, no. And Rachel said, okay, I'm going to hop off, and Julie's going to go ahead and get you started. And that's exactly what happened. Rachel hung up. I took the order, and Miss Bikini Competition was in my business. Okay? It's that simple. That is what a three-way call is. So sometimes people overcomplicate what that looks like. You're just trying to connect your person-friend connection with somebody who can either answer their questions or relate to them. Okay? Both are really powerful. We're going to talk about how you use both and how you use them differently. So I really say there's 4 main phases in Isagenix where three-way calls can be very crucial. Number 1, in the selling phase, right? The selling phase is that informational phase where you're just trying to share Isagenix, what it is, get their questions answered. I always say, like, we educate, they decide. How can I be sure they have all the right information to make an informed decision? So the selling phase is number 1. Number 2 is the welcome phase. We do life and community on this team and in this business. How can we welcome them in to be sure they feel well supported on their journey, that they know this community is more than just you? The welcome phase, powerful opportunity to use three-way calls. Number 3, the sharing phase. I've had amazing results. We just celebrated somebody that hit consultant, right? The sharing phase is when somebody is interested in starting to share Isagenix and looking for support, encouragement, education on what that looks like. And then number 4, I'm frustrated, I'm in a plateau, I need extra support. That's number 4. And that's a really powerful time too, right? Because retention is everything in this business. Everybody wants to be the person who's cycling the most. The person who's cycling the most is taking care of their people the best. And so when people have hit plateaus, when people are frustrated in either their product experience or their business experience, three-way calls are a powerful, powerful retention tool. And they're super underutilized, okay? So when we talk about how to set up a three-way call, just like tactically, don't be weird. There is nothing weird about this. It's all about, like I said, usually one of 2 things. 1, I want to put you in touch with somebody who can answer your questions. Or 2, I want to put you in touch with somebody who's in your exact same scenario. So Allison mentioned that I was the three-way call that when she enrolled. And do you want to know why Amanda put Allison and I on a three-way call? 1, because we're soul sisters, and probably on some universal level, Amanda knew that, just kidding. But Allison and I have a lot in common. We had little kids. We were both in corporate America. We understand the dynamics of what it looks like to climb the corporate ladder, the frustrations that are associated with it, what it means to have a long commute, what it means to not take care of ourselves, what it means to have balanced nutrition in the workplace when there's dozens of donuts around every corner, right? We could relate to each other. We could relate to each other. So I think that's really important to remember. Number 1, right? Number 1 is I need to get someone on the phone because they can answer the questions better than I can. Number 2 is how can you form that connection? And when I think about three-way calls, literally the secret sauce, you guys, is how can you use three-way calls for that connecting piece? Even if they have questions, what does that look like? So here's what I want you to think about. If you're needing support in any of those 4 areas, from welcome to the selling phase, to the sharing phase, to the frustration phase, use your direct leader. So whoever that is supporting you, mentoring you right now in your business. And instead of going to that leader and automatically assuming that they're the best person for the three-way call, go to them and say, this is the person I'm needing to support right now. This would be my goal for a three-way call. And this is what I know about them. So my team, they're pretty much like used to it now. If somebody asks me for a three-way call, what am I going to ask them? I'm going to say, okay, what's the person's name? Tell me a little bit about them. What is their occupation? Do they have a family? Where do they live? What is their goal in Isagenix, if it's currently known? What do we think their goal is? And then what is the goal for the call? Because the reality is I've been doing this business for 6 years, 7 years. Yes, 7 years. Anyway, I've been doing this business for a long time, and I'm not always the right person for the call. Why? Because that connection piece is so important. And it's about social proof, you guys. That's really what it is. You want someone else to be able to see themselves in the story of the person that is sharing. So what does that mean? What does that mean? That means like, I want to connect a nurse with a nurse. Because nurses understand. They speak the same language. Allison and I were both in corporate America. We were speaking language that Amanda probably didn't even understand, right? And that's okay. And the connection piece is powerful because if somebody can see their own story in the success of someone else, belief, buy-in, connection happens immediately. You have 60 pounds to lose. Put them on the phone with somebody that has already lost 60 pounds and can tell them the pathway to get there. It happens instantaneously. So go to your leaders when you have somebody to do a three-way call with, but don't assume they're the right person. Tell them what it is you're looking for, and maybe they're the right person, or maybe they're going to direct you to somebody else that would be better for that call, that could serve that person better. It's not about them not wanting to do the call for you. It's not about me not wanting to do the call for you. But if I think someone else can serve your person better, absolutely I'm going to forward them to you. Okay. And that's really, really important when it comes to utilizing the tool to its maximum. Okay. So what did I say? You want to share a little bit about what you know about the person personally, what they do, if they have a family, what you might know about them, what you think their Isagenix goal is, or what you know it is if you do know it, and what the goal for the three-way call would be. If you share that with your leader, they can help you get connected to the right person for that call. Now, as you step into your own leadership, this is when my one soapbox moment, as you step into your own leadership, as you are going to Isagenix events, you want to know why you see leaders talking to other people on other teams in the hallway, or when you're sitting in the aisles of New Year's kickoff and you see your leader turn around and interacting with other people. It's because as you become a leader, your job is to collect other people's stories. Because as you start to get connected and you're growing your team, other people's stories will help build your business. And they do that through three-way calls. So if you are, for example, you're going to Super Saturdays, there are a lot of Super Saturdays coming up. I know there's one in the Twin Cities in November. We've got some in Fargo. We've got them in South Dakota. UIA coming up in DC. I want to challenge you to meet somebody outside of your team and learn their story. Because they might be the person that does a three-way call that shifts your whole business. Okay, so that's my soapbox moment for everybody to challenge you as you step into your own leadership for your team to collect other people's stories. So really tactically, when you get on a three-way call, the invite is powerful, right? You want to be sure that you're getting them onto the call. But let's talk about what it looks like when there is some etiquette related to three-way calls. When you get on the call, you're going to edify the leader that's going to be sharing. What does that mean? I always hate when people use words like edify. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that mean? You're going to just share why you're excited that this leader is on the phone and sharing with your friend, your person, your team member. You're going to, like, just like Allison did. This is my girlfriend, Julie. We don't even know each other very well, but I'm so excited for you to meet her and hear her story. Whatever. You probably don't want to say that. That maybe is not the best thing. But you know what I'm saying? You're just going to introduce them, but you're going to share a tidbit that tells your person on the other line that this person knows what they're talking about, or this person can relate to them. So nursing is just an easy example because it's a general occupation, right? But if I was trying to connect a nurse and I had a nurse leader on, I would say, gosh, Susie, I'm so excited for you to meet my friend Lindsay, because Lindsay is also an ER nurse. And she knows exactly what you're going through and how she's used this nutrition so quickly when I know you have such little time in the ER to eat. So Lindsay, I'm so excited for you to meet. I just do a quick introduction. This is the most important part. Then you hit mute on your phone and you don't talk, okay? Don't talk. Because three-way calls get weird, you guys, when everybody is talking over the top of everyone, okay? Right? Are you with me? Like, that just gets weird. It feels awkward. You can't tell who's talking. You can't tell who's saying what. That's when it gets weird. Your only job in the three-way call is to connect your leader with your person, and then you go silent, okay? So you hit mute. And I always tell people, like, hit mute, because if you start talking, at least the mute button is on, right? And you will come on at the end, either when the leader has asked for you to chime in on something, or, you know, is trying to wrap up the call and you're getting a sense that the call is getting ready to wrap. Then you hit unmute and you go back on. So I want you to just remember that, because it's just really important that you allow the leader and your person to connect and get their questions answered and have that opportunity. And here's what I will say that I should have mentioned earlier when we talked about goals for the call. Three-way calls are a great opportunity to have conversations that make you uncomfortable. So you're going mute on the call. So you don't have the opportunity to say, oh yeah, we talked about that. Or, oh yeah, I sent her the video. She's not interested in that. Oh yeah, sorry. You know, no, you're muted. You can't say anything. So instead, you just have to listen to the call evolve and happen naturally and organically. And what that means is, if you have enrolled a coworker and you feel really uncomfortable talking about the business with your coworker because you're coworkers and there's this weird dynamic happening and you're just really uncomfortable by that. If that is the case, when you start to establish your goals for the call, if I were you, I would be saying to that leader, listen, we're coworkers. The dynamic of the business is hard for me to navigate. I think she could really be blessed by the opportunity, but I'm just in kind of a weird spot about how to introduce that. And you let that other person do the introduction. You let that other person plant the seed. You let that other person share their story of their business success and plant that seed with them. So you don't have to do that. And it is just a really great way to remove any preconceived notions that you have, because you're just putting two people in contact and you're letting the conversation happen naturally, okay? So just be considering if there are parts of the conversation in your isogenics journey where maybe it's uncomfortable because of the dynamics between the two of you, or maybe it's uncomfortable because you're just brand new and you just don't know how to talk about it. And that's kind of my last thing, which is like three-way calls are where you will learn how to talk about the business. I did not like come busting through the door and all of a sudden I like knew how to talk on three-way calls. By the time Allison had enrolled, I had already been doing the business for about 18 months. I had been on probably 100 three-way calls. So when then I became the person that was being asked to talk, I knew what to do because I had been the person on mute. And so I want you to just, sometimes for some people, there's like removing a little bit of the ego. Like, it's okay. You can know how to answer all their questions and still use three-way calls, because it's not about you and it's not about what you know. It's about how you can serve that other person. And sometimes the other person can be served more hearing it from someone else, right? So mute. It's so powerful. It's how you will learn this business. Will help the retention on your team. And I promise you, you will help more people get started with Isagenix if you focus on how can I connect my people with someone else who shares their story, who shares in what they're looking for. And if you allow it to, three-way calls will totally shift your business. So I don't know, is there anything else, Allison, any questions? Or does anybody else have any questions? I see there's a lot of comments. Team Fish.
I would say to use three-way calls as a way to teach your people to use three-way calls. So if you never do them yourself, then no one on your team will ever do them. And if you're convinced it's the way to build a business quickly, you will not be duplicating that if you don't do it yourself. So Heidi and I didn't start doing three-way calls for like 3 years because
we didn't know.
No one like started us with a three-way call. We got put 3 years behind possibly our progress because, so you'll hear people all the time say, do three-way calls, do three-way calls. They're saying that because it's actually true and it actually works and it does do all the things that Julia just described. So the best thing to do is just start doing them.
And they can seem so scary initially, like the whole awkward inviting piece and like, what do you say? But then once you do your first one, you're like, oh my gosh, that was the coolest thing ever. And then you just get it, you see. So if you haven't done one, just rip the Band-Aid off and do one this week.
Yeah, and it really has nothing to do with how much you know. I still use three-way calls on a very regular basis because it's just not about me. And Heidi and Brian are right. This is a business of duplication and people will do it. If that's how they came in, when they get ready to share, they will do that naturally because that is what feels natural to them because that is what you replicated for them. And that's why, honestly, welcome calls, if you don't need three-way calls in the quote unquote selling phase, right? Like maybe you can help them get all the information they need and all their questions answered, then utilize a welcome call. That's, we usually try to do those with somebody that after they've gotten their box within their first 3 to 5 days of having their box. Some people do them sooner, but we just and those are short 15-minute calls. But again, it's about building connection and being sure they know what the product is, how to use the products, how to use the products specific to their goals. And it's a seeding of that. Did you know that you can earn $150 back right away by sharing this with 2 people? That seed has to be planted right away. And if they get that when they come in, if they enroll somebody, you better believe they're going to just assume that a welcome call needs to happen. So such a great point. Thank you guys for sharing that. Anybody else?
I mean, I would add on to, like, when Amanda got me on a three-way call with you, I thought it was so fun. Nothing about it seemed weird to me. So I never had a story about three-way calls, right? I mean, and anytime, I do think if you go through your list of people that you've enrolled and maybe you got them started great, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, shoot, I haven't been doing this, like crap, what do I do now? Go through the list of people you've enrolled. Maybe they're loving the products. Maybe there's not a reason for a three-way call, but if maybe you have someone in there who's shown interest in sharing the products with others and you haven't done it, go through any single person who raises their hand and says, yeah, I want to get to consultant, or yeah, I would be open to getting my products paid for, or yeah, sure, invite me in, or they flip their account to associate, something like that. Just use that as a time to literally rip off the Band-Aid and be like, okay, I want to connect you in with someone else that's doing this, that is having success, that I think you're just going to love. And, connect you in, like these are the words, not get you on a three-way call. Like I never say that, I want to connect you in. I want us to hop on the phone together so you can hear from someone's, and make it about them. You get to hear from so-and-so's story, not like, so they can tell you how to do this business. No, so you can hear, what's in it for that person. Like all those little tweaks in language make a huge difference. So.
Yeah, and the power of the three-way call it truly is all about the service of the other person. So if you can make that mindset shift that this isn't about, pushing somebody into a corner for a bad timeshare presentation. This is really about how you can serve them. You won't have any issues getting people on three-way calls. And if you are somebody struggling to get someone on three-way calls, then I want you to really take a deep breath and maybe think about what it is that is your perception of three-way calls. Because if you don't have a story related to them, you won't have trouble getting people on. And I will say too that the phone is still powerful. Zoom is really powerful. if we have people where like just literally from a scheduling perspective, maybe it's like opposite shifts or whatever, we have been using three-way message in Facebook. And that's really powerful. But if you use that, it's got to be a voice memo, you guys. People need to hear your voice. They like have to hear it authentically to really form that connection. And yeah, that's all I got.
I would add with that service piece, that's why it's helpful to go to your leader and say, okay, here's the situation with my person. Who do you know? There's been so many calls that I've done where like when I think of the person to match them up with, I get super excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to be amazing. They're going to get along so well. And like, just to like hear them relate on such a different level that I could never relate to them. It is truly a gift to both of them to have that connection and to be able to serve each other, and the friendships that have come because of three-way calls have been really fun to watch. So definitely take yourself out of the equation and think of the gift that you're giving to both of those people by connecting them.
And the other gift is that, so let's say Julie calls me up to get on a call with a male business owner friend that she has. So I get on the call with this guy that I don't know, never met. I am so bold with that guy. I will say things to him that I would not say to someone who I've known since college, because he doesn't know me. I don't care what he thinks of me. There's no judgment. So I just like go all in and like go totally bold, probably way more so than Julie would, who knows him. So that's the power of this like third party, because you can go to that place that by knowing the person you wouldn't go because of fear or whatever it is, fear of judgment.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, honestly, when we talk about casting the vision for the business in particular, I find that that is why three-way calls are so effective, because you're going into the call as the person with the relationship with all sorts of assumptions, right? Like you already know about their finances, you know about their relationships, you know about the dynamics of money in their household or whatever. You're coming into the call with all these assumptions and the other person has none. And so the conversation actually ends up being, I feel like, yes, bold, but also like really pure and natural, because it really is just about being honest with each other and asking them the right questions to try to help the person become educated. So like, thank you for driving home that point. It's just such a powerful, powerful, powerful part of three-way calls. So.
Cool. And I see Kristen asked in the chat about if anyone knows a massage therapist that uses Isagenix. So if you know, and here's one other thing that I'll say about that is, yes, try to match exactly. And Emily Vaver was a massage therapist. I don't think we can get her on a three-way call, but I mean, we can share her story. But let me keep thinking, or if anyone in here can think of a massage therapist we can share. If we can't come up with an exact match, then go to, okay, well, maybe someone in the service industry, maybe a hairstylist, which I know we have some of those, or a makeup artist, or even a restaurant, like a server, you know, like a service industry type person. Or if you know their personality and could find another good personality match. Like sometimes we can't find the exact match, and then I don't want that to deter you from doing the call, okay? Then it's like, okay, what do we do to, which, can anyone think, I'll probably think of a massage therapist. I mean, I know that they're out there, but if anyone can, let us know. And we can go pull groups too and ask. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kristen.
That is a good point too, is that the connection can happen on any level, right? So like my immediate questions back to Kristen would be like, does she own, or he or she own their own business, or are they doing retail, like massage therapy? You know, like, are they in a spa? Are they in somebody else's business, right? Like, because there are questions then that will help guide finding somebody else, like Allison saying, that isn't maybe specific. So awesome.
Yeah. And then Melissa asked a question. I've been working on one forever. How do you get the person to say yes to the three-way call? How do you get the individual that you want on the three-way call?
So I talk to people how I would in just everyday life. And again, I do everything via voice memo because I just feel like it sounds way more authentic. So my question back to you, Melissa, would be, okay, well, what is the reason for the three-way call? Are you in the selling phase, the information, like, are you trying to get them information? Or are you trying to get them to talk about the business? And how will the three-way call serve that person? And that's where you have to focus the invite on, is back to what is in it for them to do it. And if it is truly like, if it's a scheduling thing, then that's the circumstance where I would move to a three-way Facebook message or Instagram message or DM, with you and your leader or whoever that looks like, and try to get that person the information that they need via that way. But in general, I always just try to like take a step back and think, well, what will the three-way call do for them, and try to serve it up to them in that way, right? Which is like, hey, I really want you to have a chance to talk to Drew because he has amazing abs and I know you want amazing abs too. So just like trying to frame it up in a way that is about how, Heidi said, I would also say she may not be ready. Ask what platform she would be most comfortable with. Yeah. I mean, if she's not ready to get on the phone, like I don't think she's also in a position where she's ready to make a purchase either. So there's that.
And maybe she would be happy to come to the Hutchinson Simpson sample on Thursday. Like sometimes it's too much for them, so then you have to meet them. Maybe it's like, oh, well, just come and my sister can chat with you, and because I know you guys have the thing on Thursday. Or sometimes we have to go backwards a little bit, but it's like start here, and yeah, I agree. I mean, if she's not, but so we can chat about that to specific situation, and I'll chat with you about it. But this has been super good. I know it's 9:37. Thank you guys. Thank you, Julie. We're trying to build a residual business with self-sustaining leaders, and by connecting them with other people in the company and taking yourself out of the equation, that's the only way you're going to do it, right? So bottom line, three-way calls help produce that freedom too that you're looking for. So awesome. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Feel free to join. We're going to have our first Blitz Hour tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central. We'll set more ground rules then for whoever's on. So great. Thank you.
Bye, guys.